Should be good. Yep. We are good.
Streaming?
Yeah, baby.
We
Bobby.
be streaming. Hold on a second there, Matt.
Islands in the stream.
Before we get crazy here, I want to see it come up here and retweet it on Twitter.
Wheat Kings and Pretty Things.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do this. Matt, happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday, Bobby.
How you doing?
Dustin Johnson, favored, wins.
Dude, unreal. Just the guy is like, honest to God, I think you could take his face off and there's a cyborg behind there.
He's a robot, man.
He is absolutely robotic. And I have to tell you that when I was watching it, after I saw Tiger's interview after round 3 and him saying how the greens just are not as challenging as normal. Like there's no break on these greens. It's like no break, broken top.
No break it, broken top.
Yeah. He's like, he was on the high side of, 50 putts because
well, when they're soft like that, they can't roll them. They can't do what they do when they're dry. And it was raining. I mean, it wasn't raining during the tournament, but it would rain at night and then they'd soften them up again. And
the growth patterns are different in the fall.
Yeah. But
I don't know this. I'm not a greenskeeper, but I have been told that grass does a lot of work in the fall.
Yeah.
A lot of growing, whatever. All I know is you saw it routinely where the balls were not breaking like they do in a normal,
kind of like this market. It's not breaking higher or lower in a normal market. It's just sitting.
Same with the hogs. And for me, you take away the crowd, right? And you take away greens that you can 4-putt easily when they're stimping at 13 and 14 and they're breaking like they're on a pool table. That's a completely different tournament.
Completely.
I think Tiger was frustrated. He was like, you could see it in his demeanor. And then, of course, he takes a 10 on a par 3.
Yeah, the tin cup.
Yeah. Another great stat, the 23,000 holes he'd played in professional golf and had never carded a 10.
Really? Even on a par 5? I'm surprised he hadn't had that happen.
Never once had he carded a 10 in his entire career.
Wow. That's boggling. But
is that crazy?
He's so accurate with his irons. I can see that wouldn't happen. He's not.
And as our friend Riley pointed out, number 1 in PGA Tour history being below the pin.
Yeah, and I've always thought that it's interesting. I'm surprised more players don't play that way. But I think, knowing when you're below the hole versus above it, or, coming back from the backside off the crown is never a fun place to be. So I don't know. But it was a good weekend, a birthday weekend. I enjoyed myself. It was pretty relaxing.
Can't wait to delve into some of the cake. Did you save some cake?
I've got cake for you tonight. I got a lot of yellow cake with chocolate frosting, homemade. It is very good.
My favorite.
You got to help me because I've already eaten like a quarter of it, and I'll eat the whole thing if you don't come over.
All right, Matt, what I wanted to talk about here today, and I got a couple of examples in a couple different areas. And going back to Tiger and his first 10 in his career, and we talked about this last week, it's like exceptionalism. And along with exceptionalism, like being great at something, truly great. The tweet last week was Greg Maddux, right? 24,000 batters, and only 133 of them had seen an 0-3 count or 3-0 count, 0-3, and you're sitting on the pine like I did in baseball. But anyway, I'm going to bring them up here one in a row, and these go further than the trust issue. And for this one, this coal mining company sends tremors across Asian debt markets. And the trust issue is just last month, it got the highest possible rating from a domestic credit rating company.
Yeah.
And then it defaults on like $180 million short-term note. Sorry, we don't have the money. We can't pay it.
After a month ago, getting the highest rating from the ratings agencies.
But
I'll say, we can make fun of China, but shit, that was the same thing we did in 08 and 09 and still hasn't been fixed.
I
Our
agree with
banks
you
are,
100%. It's systemic. It's in the system. It's like, what are you kidding me? How am I supposed to like if you're a hedge fund guy? I mean, I guess you can always say, well, I'm just going to blame it on the credit rating agency.
right.
But
Well,
it's
people
systemic
try, but
across.
they're also foolproof. Like you can't sue S&P and Moody's, even though they should be. I mean, they should be out of business. I mean, those companies, take money from you to, rate them, and then they don't have any objectivity. They just give you whatever, depending on how well you pay them, you can clearly buy your rating, and so we can make fun of China, but I think we need to look at ourselves in the mirror, because this is still happening and will come to roost, and will come. I still contend that most of COVID is based upon bad pension debt, because
Right.
they are screwed. They're backed into the corner, the Democrats especially, because they're the ones that support all these fat pension, programs for state and federal funds, and these people will never be paid. I hate to tell them, if you work for a state agency, you better take it if you can today, even if it's early. Take the money today, because you're not going to be able to get it in 5 years and 10 years and 15 years. It's not going to be there.
And that seems black and white as far as the ability to service that debt.
Yeah.
All right.
It's impossible. It's mathematically impossible.
Right.
Unless you can get 3 trillion from Trump out of some, every 2 months to, of pork product.
Yeah, but even that just kicks the can down the road. I mean,
Totally. Yeah. It doesn't help
so
anything.
instead of letting states go bankrupt, like you are familiar with because you hail from Detroit, Michigan, and they just went bankrupt. The city went bankrupt, right? Detroit, and the pensioners got screwed.
Yeah, they did, and not as bad as they will in the future, but at least they took their pain, and they can try to move on. It's not.
Well,
it hasn't
this
been.
article goes on to explain that the hedge fund community came in and bought a lot of this debt up last week in China, in particular, 20-30 cents on the dollar, thinking that there's no way that they don't get a bailout. And it went on to say, well, that works great, except that, as usually happens, sometime the central says, hey, you know what, forget it, we're not bailing them out, and we need a reset here also with this. And it's happened throughout history, kind of routinely.
Yeah. So
anyway, I just thought it was
slam dunk bets aren't so slam dunk for the hedge funds, right?
Exactly.
It's a mean game.
Again, and more importantly, just questioning. I'm questioning everything I see now. All right, and here's another one. Scott Irwin doing some great work here, and this is a real long thread. I won't get into it anyway, but he's talking about the USDA, and they revised their quarterly corn stocks by just over 200 million metric tons. A
Plus or minus.
A few semi-loads, 200 million metric tons. They're like, why even get the report? Why even have the government do an estimate if it's going to be off by that much? And he's really questioning the again, it's like a 9-tweet thread, fully questioning the how the government went about doing this. But at the end of the day, how can you be that wrong? And then how does somebody trading corn or trying to hedge corn risk, if they're looking at the USDA, it makes it pretty difficult if you're going to be off by 200 million metric tons.
Funny mentals, Bob. Funny mentals. I can't trade off of them. They're useless.
And then last but not least, the most egregious, hold on, is this one. Jason Isbell. He's taken back. He's canceling his Country Music Association membership card. They have their country music awards and celebration, and no mention of John Prine, Jerry Jeff Walker, or Billy Joe Shaver. I will admit I've never heard of Billy Joe Shaver, but I grew up on John Prine.
So I'm assuming all 3 of these gentlemen died this year.
Yes, exactly.
Again, it's sad, because without guys like Prine and Walker, I know, and I actually have heard of Shaver. Without these guys, there is no future and there is no present. So, yeah, I appreciate Jason Isbell for saying stuff like that, because it's honest and it's raw and it hurt. And those people should be remembered, and they should have had a 15-minute segment of collaboration, of people playing John Bryant. Anybody would do that. It's a no-brainer.
I right again, and so I know the blockchain wants to move to a trustless society. It seems like we're already there. I don't trust anybody or
Right.
anything. It's
Right.
ridiculous. I mean, how that just blows me away. I don't know.
Well, and then then you had close to 1 million people peacefully, clapping hands for a little Trump party this weekend in DC. And then once it got dark, the darkness came out, and the fringe, and it is the fringe, people. This is whoever is paying these guys to go out and throw Molotov cocktails and fireworks on people as they're trying to support the businesses outside in DC and all these cities right now. As we enter another shutdown, they can go F themselves. That's what I have to say. Come here and you sidewind me and hit me in the back of the head like you're doing to these people on the streets that are harmless. Again, you need to be shot.
Well,
how about Alec Baldwin raging this weekend and saying, again, Trump is a Nazi and he needs to have the swastika. He needs to be buried alive. And so I'm like, dude, really? You're off your freaking rocker right now.
Yeah. Orange Man bad. We know that.
Orange Man bad.
Orange Man bad.
Wild though. What the
rinse and repeat.
Oh my God.
Rinse and repeat. I didn't see the Obama interview, but I've read some snippets on how only one side is fake news, apparently.
Yeah.
And I've always known that the truth is somewhere in the middle, and that just blows me away that you can come out and say it's all that side is all the fake news. Our side is all truth. I don't know. I smell a rat right away when somebody pontificates like that. And I will say this, Barack Obama, if you're listening, awesome house you bought at sea level on Martha's Vineyard, because we got 7 years left. Maybe he only took out a 7-year mortgage on it, and then he's going to claim.
He had a balloon. He had a 7-year balloon.
See, being in a pit for all these years, I have a tremendous amount of sarcasm, firstly. And secondly, when I said it last week, don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining. Don't advocate that the world is coming to an end from sea level rise and then buy a $15 million piece of property at sea level.
On the beach.
On the beach. I'm sure the Mai Tais taste great there, but I don't know. That's just the way I think. Matt, I'm best when I don't think, and I just look at markets. So please, let's talk price discovery.
Let's do it. I've got real quick. We talked last week about wheat and how when we closed on Thursday at 585, as long as we continue to close above 585, this was a good area to buy. Well, today we're sitting at 603. We're up $18 off that low. And I will point out that we did make a further low after we reopened on wheat. But again, that wasn't a new close. The new close didn't come until here. And guess what? At that point, we held. We're back at 594 on Friday. And again, we held overnight. And we are up and away. So I wanted to point out wheat is very bullish. We're very bullish. And the pullback on the long-term chart here was beautiful. Again, that set up 585. And now we're back up into the meat, take some profits here, but I think it goes higher. I think you can continue to buy dips on wheat, Bob. And with that, I want to also talk a little bit about volatility, since you just saw my alert.
Yeah, love it.
We're peaking up here a little bit. And volatility, as I talked about last week, is dragging. Like, we're dragging along the bottom here, but we're not going below 22. 22 continues to hold. And if you look at, over the year, all we've kind of done is come back into this range. And I do think we're going to see some, because nobody expects volatility. I think we're going to see some big volatility from November 16th today through, say, the holidays. It's going to be unusually so. And I think kind of what we talked about setting up, this strife, this anger, this upset, mostly on the left side, is going to get worse and worse as this election, again, continues to drag out. Nobody has still won this thing. I mean, we literally, and I sent you a note about this morning. I mean, we literally could get to January and still not have a president by the Electoral College, which, by the way, I sent you some information, can actually be determined by the Supreme Court, who says we're going to put it to the states, and the number of states that voted for Trump versus the ones that didn't. There is something in the House of Representatives that says,
yeah, I saw that. I saw a link to as had happened in 1830.
And it has, and there is precedent in our country for this. So I'm not making this up. This happened in the election of 1824. So people, do your homework. Don't rely upon mainstream bullshit. Don't get sucked into those rabbit holes. Don't reiterate the mainstream media bullshit that you're being preached to every day. Check it out for yourself. It's completely different when you get into the facts.
Yeah, I agree, Matt. I agree.
I want to talk a little bit about this. Is interesting to me, Bob. We're shutting down here in Oregon. They've shut down New York. They've shut down California again. They've shut down all the leftist country, sides. The middle will wait. There was people downtown Bend yesterday quietly posting their signs, and I'll post some of those later, but talking a little bit about, we're not going to comply. We're going to keep our businesses running. I mean, right into the holidays. Can you believe this, that they're shutting down?
We talked about this. The governor here in Oregon came out and said, we're going to do a 2-week shutdown, and we're going to start at 5 days from now.
Right.
How do you, it's amazing. It's like we've hit an iceberg. The boat is leaking, but we're going to start patching the hole in 5 days. Yep. I mean, if it's truly, I don't get that. Shut down tomorrow if it's if those are the numbers. And
then you're starting to see out of France saying, "Oh, we've peaked now in France."
Well, it just blows me away. And I see the reasoning. They figured they couldn't do a 3-week lockdown, right? But if they put it off a week, they could lock down over Thanksgiving,
right?
To control the spread.
And you know as well as I do that come December 2nd, they're going to shut it down another 2 weeks right into Christmas.
No, they won't. They'll let it go for 2 weeks, right? And they'll shut it down December 22nd.
Right.
You're going to get a 20-day relapse.
Yeah, so you can go out and shop. You can go out and shop, right? But here's okay. So I brought so there's some charts going crazy here. Uber being one of them, and this is because of all the vaccine talk and everything. Everybody, So the market is projecting that vaccines are going to fix everything. And, you see Boeing hit $200 today. You see Uber up here. To me, this doesn't make much sense because I don't think this stuff stops, but this is what the market's doing. And again, Boeing hit 203 today, currently trading 199. So I just want to throw up some of these charts. CCL, which is, excuse me, too many C's, but Carnival, also another spike today based upon, but this is the interesting one on the price side. It's nowhere near where it was last week on the Biden celebration.
Right.
So the bounces here are getting weaker in many names, and you should be wary. There's a lot of conflicting data here. Your favorite, Bitcoin, Bob, going through the roof, another new high here.
They shook me out last night before I went to bed, and I got up and rebought.
16.8. It's through the roof. I don't know what to tell you. It just keeps, and it's inch warming up too. This is inch warming up. This is not like it was in 2017 at all, by the way.
No, not yet. And give me some action here. Let me talk about it.
Okay.
Hold on. I need to be a host. I'm going to be a hostess of the mostest. I didn't know Jason Isbell was in Drive-By Truckers.
Yeah.
Great country RB.
Also a former, party animal. So gotten his
what I wanted to talk about, and it's up here anyway, because I talk a lot about if you're in the ecosystem, if you've decided to park money, that you got to pay attention to the crosses, because sometimes Bitcoin isn't the best story. as far as return is concerned. And for me on the board now, Litecoin shaking a leg here a little bit. The first one of the majors here out of low momentum on the weekly. And for me, more importantly, Litecoin, Bitcoin on the 3-day, fully pressing to that up momentum level, 0043. 0043, need to see a close in that momentum level. But again, the rest of the board, not nearly as healthy. You know, we talk market vitals, the vital signs of that market, the relative health or sickness of a particular asset. And it can be anything. I mean, Matt and I will preach to you ad nauseum that I don't care if you're trading, Willie Stargell rookie cards. The price discovery of that rookie card is going to be the only thing I care about. You know, he wasn't a Cub. He was a Cub killer. But anyway, so Litecoin shaking a leg here. And then Bitcoin, for me, it's a little bit different than just complete expanding potentials now, all the way up on the 3-day on near 18,500. The only chart that's still collaring it is the quarterly. We go to the quarterly up into that 17,250 will be that collar. It'll be a double top into January of 18, as high as and that's as high as it's been since January of 18, obviously. So I still, I don't see this run. I'm long. I'm taking profits between 17 and 18,000. That's all I can tell you. I think we still need some sideways action and some time to develop in order for us to take out that 20,000. I don't really see it this year. I see it more as a first quarter play next year on that fully taking out. That being said, as Bitcoin possibly trades sideways then up at these higher levels, I really am paying attention to the crosses. And you can see on this Litecoin, Bitcoin on the quarterly, it's been in lower momentum now for a full year and a half. So mind the mo, man. Mind the numbers. Forget about what you think. Forget about what Matt and I think. That's of zero relevance, right? You got to become your own trader with your own methodology and your own risk-reward protocol. And by far, the most important thing is your own incredible trading discipline. Discipline wins the day, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple more follow-up charts for me. Names that we've talked about in the past. SRRK finally broke today. It's been trading kind of 47 to 40 for the last 2 weeks, and it finally broke. And I think this one's for real. And again, I just pulled up an 89-minute chart, but you can see this time that it spent. I mean, we started selling it back here on end of October, the 29th, and it came in that day, sold it again, came in, sold it, came in, sold it, and that's where we are today. And it's coming in. I've probably got about 50% of my position left. I think we could trade down to 30 level pretty easily, at least clean up this little mess here in 32. Might bounce first, so get a chance here. Bounces at 36, comes back to 42. I'm already short 46 4 times. You know what? My average is up to about this is what you call trading around a core position, right? You're waiting for it to break. In the meantime, you're making $5, $4, $6, $4, $5, 4 or 5 times. And your actual position is more like $70 now, right? And it's never even traded that. So you tell people that and they're like, huh? I'm like, well, that's how you trade around a core position. And it's no different when you're buying stocks as they're, dragging along the bottom. You buy them, you sell some, you buy them when they come back in. We saw this with Aurora. This is how trading works. Nothing goes in straight lines up or down, but they tend to rotate. And when these rotations happen, you can make a lot of money even before the big move comes. And this is another perfect example of that, Bobby. And I just wanted to, again, let people see that and how that plays out. It's really quiet out there. Let's throw off everybody's darling, vaccine stock for the day, which is Moderna, Bill Gates's company that he's backing. And we saw a new all-time high this pre-market, traded all the way up to 105. Pretty uneventful, though. I mean, since the open, red. We opened at 101, traded down to 93s, and now we're kind of dead cat bouncing. But this is hanging over our head again. It's just like So unless you came in long, the trade has been on the day trade has been on the short side, and there's really not a lot going on to the upside here. So I'd be careful if you don't have a position, and if you do have a position, probably a good time to lighten it up. You lighten up on the news, people. This is what you hold stocks for. The event has happened. They were 95% effective on what, a trial of 60 people? Who knows what that means? It doesn't mean shit. We're so far from accuracy in any vaccine. We're years out, and people yet are. This is why I think we're getting the cart way out ahead of the horse here.
Right. Well, Matt, it got a AAA rating though from the credit the credit analyst in China.
Well, I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will go to the market for more bond money for sure. I mean, this is the thing. They run the stock price up so they can issue more debt via another offering, and then they'll take the thing down again. This is just
well. Here's another key. Did the Moderna CEO or Bill Gates lighten up on their stock position into this news?
We'll find out in a week or two after the fact when it's useless information. Yeah.
Right. My bullshit meter off the scale.
Yep. Well, the Pfizer one. I mean, the Pfizer CEO sold what?
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. So. Yeah. He didn't know about it though. He did all that paperwork in October.
He's always got it ready. He's always got it ready to push the button. Hey, Doris, sell my stock that I listed back in October, please. The news is out now, I guess. We got to sell.
Matt, we live in the age of irony. That's all there is to it. There was the Iron Age. There was the Gilded Age. There was the Gold Age. There was the Industrial Revolution. And now we are fully encamped in the age of irony, right?
The age of irony, Bob.
That's it, baby. The age of irony. All right, pal. You have a great day. I will see you later. Bears on Monday Night Football tonight.
Bears Vikings.
I like watching Monday Night. I like watching the Bears with Matt, a Detroit Lion fan. So somebody that's used to garbage Norris Division football.
It's the black and blue.
Although, I got to tell you, the Detroit Lion. You guys have had with Matthew Stafford over the last decade. I mean, that guy's put up more incredible performances.
If he had some players around him, like if
he wins the Turkey Bowl with the fifth graders around him, every year the guy wins the Turkey Bowl hands down. If they had a top 5 defense.
Don't look now, but Detroit is actually 4-5.
Dude, if they had a top 5 defense, and I think they're heading that way.
Bob, did you see that game yesterday? They were up 24-3 going into the fourth, and it ended up tied 24-all with 17 seconds left. Don't talk to me about their defenses coming up.
That's please. All right. Matthew Stafford with the top 5, top 3 defense. He's a multiple Super Bowl winner.
True. He would do awesome.
Right. And
he would make Aaron Rodgers look like a chump. Like Matthew Stafford should be doing State Farm commercials, not Aaron Rodgers. He's such a
and for the Bears, just another season with who's this guy again? Another guy that you would never pick on your Turkey Bowl team. You're like, no, you can have, but he played in the NFL. No, that's right. You can have him. He can be on your team.
Him.
We don't want him.
I'll take Bobby. He played at Western Michigan for the Broncos. I'll take him all day.
This guy, Nick Foles, I fold on Nick Foles already. All right, pal. All right. Have a great day. Hey, listen, please visit marketvitals.io. Join one of our private groups and get added value. We are committed to building out a network of traders accountable to each other. Our number one goal is to just be honest opinions about market activity, whether that be fundamental or technical. But honesty has always been the key for trading success in my life. Honesty and discipline. And if believe me, it helps you if you have somebody that is willing to tell you that you're full of shit and that you should be out of your position. That that just helps. You don't need a bunch of cheerleaders in your trading group cheering you on and telling you everything's going to be okay. That's how you end up living in a van down by the river. Yep. And we should say that, right, Matt, as part of the disclaimer, that trading is dangerous. Trade at your own risk. Be disciplined or live in a van down by the river. All right, Matt, thanks a lot.
All right, Bobby.
Peace out.